Today we're going to talk about something real important. We're going to talk about how to PvP well as a two-handed Frost Death Knight. So first I'll talk briefly about the setup that I use. Then we'll talk about glyphs and stats and talents and rotation. But before, I just want to get something out of the way, just address something real quick. Some of you might be asking, well, why would I listen to this guy? What kind of credibility does this person have? And just kind of get that right out of the way. I'm gonna just go right here, and I'm gonna show you something. I am a holder of the most important achievement in the game, which is the Butcher title from killing 500 Torn. So hopefully that shuts down any questions of my credibility or anything like that. So Butcher is quite possibly the coolest title in the game. So we'll move on from there. So the setup that I use, I have everything hotkeyed. So 1 through 5 is usually on my characters the DPS rotation. There's like not much to Frost Death Knights, so I even threw in Dark Malcolm in there, even though that's not, that's just a fun move you can use. Mage is blinking away, you can just Dark Malcolm and then you get their blink and then you can go right after. But to talk about the setup more, these are mainly my moves that get runic, my runes back, and the offensive cooldowns, the PvP trinket and Pillar of Frost. So that just gives you an idea of the setup that I use. So now we'll talk about stats. Stats is real simple. Haste. That's your secondary stat. You're gonna argue with me about this and say, hey, it's multi-strike. Well, if you're in PvP, then multi-strike's not the same as PvE. If you want to fight about it, go to Arena Junkie. There's threads in there on the Death Knight forum that'll validate and reaffirm that what I'm telling you is true. So haste is your thing. So when you're for your rings, and your neck and your cloak, you're gonna throw some haste enchantments on there. Gift of haste for all that stuff. It'll make everything regenerate faster, and it's just, I'm not gonna go into the specific numbers and all that, but that's the stat. So your main stat obviously is strength, then comes haste, then comes versatility. Versatility is good, and which is why if you're gonna PvP on Alliance, you should probably PvP as a human, because they get human spirit versatility increased by 100, which is great. And also, as a human, you get the basically the trinket for free, the movement impairing trinket. You got your racial instead, so that leaves your other trinket spot for other things. You don't gotta use up one of those trinket spots for something that'll break you out of movement impairing effects. So humans are really good for Alliance for PvP. So yeah, haste. First is strength, second is haste, third is versatility. After that, it's like mastery, multi-strike, crit. So that's your priority right there. So just throw a bunch of haste on your gear. Talk about talents. Tier 1 for talents, I got Plague Leech. I'm using Plague Leech because it saps the diseases off your target and you get more death runes. Death runes you can use to hit them with obliterates. Obliterate's like your main thing as a Death Knight. So when you're open up on your target, you hit them with your diseases and then just start wailing on them with obliterate. And then that's, obviously you use your offensive cooldowns too, but your main shit is obliterate. That's your main hitting ability. You dump your runic power with Frost Strike. These are like 3 and 4 here. Frost Strike and obliterate. Those are your moves. But when you're out of obliterates, you use Plague Leech and you get more obliterates because it gives you more gives you death runes. So Plague Leech is extremely beneficial. Tier 2. Tier 2, Lichborn. Gets you out of charms and fears and sleep and shit. So that's what I use. Tier 3, Asphyxiate. I like Asphyxiate a lot. It's like, it's just a cool move. It's a 5-second stun. It's like some Darth Vader shit. Force choke. It's awesome. Tier 4, Runic Empowerment. Blood Tap and Runic Corruption. Fuck those. Runic Empowerment is the way to go. Next tier, you can use Death Pact or Conversion. Death Pact is it's like an instant heal, doesn't cost anything. But I prefer Conversion because Death Pact has a 2-minute cooldown. So Conversion, you could throw that on yourself and start hitting them with Death Strikes to build up your Runic power. Build them up with Runic power, Death Strike heals you, then you throw in Conversion, and then heals you some more. So you can use that at any time. There's no cooldown on that. It's based on Runic power. So that's why I like Conversion better. Next tier you got Remorseless Winter, Gorfiend's Grasp, and Desecrated Ground. Desecrated Ground is good, you know, because you can. It's like another one of these human racial abilities, or the PvP trinket that gets you out of movement impairing effects. It's like an extra one of those, but I also like Remorseless Winter. What I usually do is I'll hit them with Asphyxiate, and then after their Asphyxiate is done, I'll try to do both at the same time. Like I'll hit them with Asphyxiate first, and then Remorseless Winter like right at the same time, and then as soon as they get out of their stun from the Asphyxiate, they get another stun from Remorseless Winter. It's like a little double stun combo, which I like a lot. But Desecrated Ground's good too. Next tier though, you got Necrotic Plague, Defile, and Breath Cinegrosa. I like Necrotic Plague. Necrotic Plague because if you have Necrotic Plague, there's a few moves that'll put diseases on your target, or they'll put frost. There's 2 diseases you need to put on people, your targets. You need to put on Frost Fever, and I think the other one's called Blood Plague. Yeah. Necrotic Plague replaces Blood Plague and Frost Fever with one disease that does both at the same time. So, if you say, your outbreak is on cooldown, it's got a 1-minute cooldown. How you would apply diseases to your target is you would have to do it manually. You would have to use one of the 3 frost moves that put it on, Icy Touch, Howling Blast, or Chains of Ice. But then you would also have to put on, you'd also have to hit him with Plague Strike, which puts on Blood Plague. But if you use Necrotic Plague, you could just take Plague Strike and fucking toss it in the trash. You don't need it anymore. So it frees up a spot on your bars for other things. Plague Strike is completely unnecessary now. So that's why I like Necrotic Plague, because makes it so you don't need Plague Strike, and you can get to hitting them with Obliterates faster. Saves you a little bit of time, and it's just good all around. So that's what I use for talents. Then you got your glyphs. For glyphs, I use well, I mean, there's a few different right answers for your glyphs. Right now, I'm using Glyph of Icy Runes. Currently, your target. One of the bad things about Frost Death Knights is targets can get the fuck away from you. Sure, you got your Death Grip and everything, but it's easy for targets to get away from you. So you're constantly kind of spamming Chains of Ice on targets that are running away. So if you're going to be spamming Chains of Ice, you might as well get something out of it. So if you Glyph of Icy Runes, you get Runic Power whenever you hit him with Chains of Ice. So it's useful. And then you got Glyph of Icy Touch is a huge one. It's a purge. It removes any magic buff. Like if you're against a priest and they have a Power Word Shield on, you hit them with Icy Touch and this thing's glyphed, then their fucking stupid shield goes away. If you're against a paladin, they pop their wings for their damage buff. You're against a ret paladin, you hit them with Glyph of Icy Touch and their wings go away. So fuck them. You're against a druid, and they got one of their heal over time effects on them. You hit them with the Icy Touch, and then their stupid HOT goes away. So it's just something that you can like spam on. That's why I got it on my main rotation bar. If I didn't have this glyph, Howling Blast would be here because it does more damage and it splash damages on other targets. But you know, usually if you're in arena, your target's got some kind of magic buff on them. So I just put that there, and I use that if I'm trying to purge, or if I need to reapply diseases and Outbreak is on cooldown. You know, it'll serve as a dual purpose. You know, you purge them and you put your diseases on them at the same time. So great. The only downside is it does a little bit less damage than Howling Blast. But it's still, you know, it would be damn near impossible to 1v1 a Disc Priest without this. You know, extremely hard. So it's so very useful. And then I got Glyph of Runic Power. You're struck by movement impairing effect, you get more runic power. So I like moves that give me runic power, because if I need to go into defensive mode, I swap out Obliterate and Howling Frost Strike. Obliterate builds runic power, Frost Strike dumps it. So if I'm going into defensive mode, I just switch these two. I switch it for Death Strike and Conversion. So Death Strike heals you, and it also builds runic power, like Obliterate does. And then I just dump everything with Conversion, and it's this constant heal over time. So these things, you know, I like to keep my runic power constantly going, and these things just help with that. But other ones that are worth mentioning, an anti-magic shell if you're against like a warlock or a mage, and they're hitting you with a lot of magic damage. You got this glyph right here, and then you're not going to feel it. And also, anti-magic shell has a 45-second cooldown, so it's something that you can constantly use. Let's see, Death and Decay's okay. You know, if you got someone that's, I mean, as a Death Knight, like, you got little movement. You know, that's like your biggest hang-up is trying to get the shit that's trying to get away from you. So Death and Decay just helps with that. You throw that down, and then they get slowed within it. So it makes it so you can get back to them easier. Get over to them easier. Then you got Glyph of Empowerment. Glyph of Empowerment's also really good. It's like another Death Pact. It heals you for a huge chunk, and it also goes well with your rotation, especially if you're using Plague Leech, because say you're getting attacked by someone or two people in arena at the same time, and you're going through your regular rotation. You know, you throw your diseases on them first, and then you start hitting your target with Obliterate. Then your Obliterates run out because your runes run out, and then you hit them with Plague Leech to get the runes back. Hit them with more Obliterate, then your Obliterates go out again. At that point, you should, you know, if you're getting attacked, you know, your health is going down, and then you need to get your runes back anyway. So then you use Empower Rune Weapon, and you get a heal and your runes back at the same time. So it's nice. But the thing is, like, Empower Rune Weapon has a fucking 5-minute cooldown. So that's like a one-time help kind of a thing. It's a big heal at once. And also, it kind of makes it so that if you can't use it in the scenario I just described, then you might save it defensively. So, I don't know. Then you got, that's pretty much it. If you're one of those players that shifts back and forth between blood presence and frost presence, depending on if you're being offensive or defensive, and shifting presence might be helpful. But I really don't. You know, if I'm going defensive, I just stick with the death strikes and the conversions. I don't bother with the blood presence. But who knows? I might be a better player if I did. So there's that. So those are the talents and glyphs and stats. So just to kind of let you know how I start my opener. If I'm trying to do a lot of damage, I'm trying to fuck somebody up, you know, pop my trinkets, diseases, Obliterate. Hit him with Obliterate. Bunch of Obliterates. All my Obliterates are gone. What am I going to do? Plague Leech. Oh shit, I got more Obliterates. Look at that. I put the diseases back on. Oh, I got no Obliterates. Power Ring Weapon. Now I got more Obliterates. Hit him with Obliterate and Frost Strike. That's pretty much your whole thing. You know, you're against a priest. He's putting up his Power Word Shield. Oh, you got Icy Touch. Bye Shield. Goodbye Mage, Frost Shield thing. If you're against a Paladin, he's got his wings. Goodbye Wings. You know, so the Glyph of Icy Touch is so useful. So that's pretty much it. You know, you put your diseases on them, and you wail on them with Obliterate. And another thing I forgot to mention, if they're down 35% health, you got to throw on a Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper does a lot of damage, so don't forget about the Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper is very, very necessary to help killing your target. So as soon as they're at 35% health, hit them with the Soul Reaper. But the Frost Death Knight rotation is fairly simple. Like I said, it's you know, you hit them with the Pillar of Frost and your PvP trinket, pop those, hit them with diseases, Obliterate, Frost Strike, get your Obliterate. When the Obliterates are gone, Plague Leech, hit them with Obliterate some more. When your Obliterates are gone again, Power Rune Weapon, hit them with Obliterate some more. Honorable mention to Dark Smalcrum. Dark Smalcrum is just so cool because if you're like against a mage and he blinks away, you can hit him with the Dark Smalcrum first, and then as soon as he hit it, it'll copy the next ability that's used. So you hit the mage with that, and then he uses blink. You'll steal his blink, and then that'll be right there, and you can just blink right back after him. So it's useful against druids. A lot of times you'll throw on a Dark Smalcrum onto a druid, and then you'll steal one of their heal over times, like one of their their regrowth or rejuvenation. You throw it on a Disc Priest, and most likely you'll come back with a Power Word Shield or one of his maybe a Flash of Light or something like that. But many useful abilities can be taken from Dark Smalcrum, so it's just a fun thing to use. And that's what I got, because I used to not use Plague Leech, or not Plague Leech, but I used to not use Necrotic Plague. So on number 5 right here, I used to have Plague Strike, which would put on Blood Fever. So that's why that used to be part of my main rotation. Whenever Outbreak was on cooldown, I would have to hit him with one of the Frost abilities, and then number 5 was Plague Strike, so I could put Blood Fever on him. But I got rid of Plague Strike, don't need it anymore. I just put Dark Smalcrum there. It's like a little for my fun move to use. So those are my tips to PvP as a Frost Death Knight. Hopefully you guys found it useful. If not, then I wasted all of 20 minutes. So thanks for watching, and you guys have a good day.